What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Purple Parlor. And man, we're trying not gonna make it depressing here, but we got a lot to talk about after this, y'all.
I say the same. I say the same. All right.
What is going on, everybody? I'd ask everybody how we're doing, but I have a pretty good feeling how we're all feeling at the moment, and we're probably feeling the same. But man, there's a reason to be excited outside of the JJ McCarthy
Don't do
news.
this. Don't do this.
Bro,
You cannot do this.
bro.
Not
Well,
today.
we're here.
Not tonight.
It's our first episode, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
It is our first
There's
episode.
there's some reason
Facts.
to have some hope here.
Yeah, for our selfish reasons. But as far as like the state of the Vikings, it's all right. Hey, hold on. Yesterday
Go
was
ahead.
so bad. And like leading up to today, number one, we get Stephon Gilmore in the building. All right, this is great. We're about to sign him. He leaves, they don't sign him. Okay. Sam Darnold has a bad practice yesterday. Okay. And then I saw the tweet from Judd Zolgad, because this was like not long after KOC was talking about JJ McCarthy and the knee soreness. When I heard knee soreness, I was like, oh, no big deal. Brush it off. Come back next week. He'll be fine. Judd Zolgad said KOC looked pretty concerned. So with Gilmore not being signed, with Sam Darnold playing like ass in practice, I was just saying, don't let it be strike three. Let's just JJ McCarthy, he's healthy and we're good. And we couldn't even get that. So,
well, I mean, once that like out of nowhere press conference with KOC was this morning, I was like, okay, this has got to be bad, because there ain't no reason you're going to have. I mean, they didn't say emergency press conference. They said unscheduled press conference.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, there's something going on. I was hoping it wasn't anything serious like a meniscus. Thank God it wasn't an ACL or anything like that. But once something like that comes out, it's like, all right, something's going on. It must be some type of surgery, or he's going to be out a few weeks. And obviously, come to find out, torn meniscus. And I think they said more than likely, Ben Gosling said more than likely they're going to send him for full repair, which, I mean, it's obviously not positive. But when you're in the position you're in right now, which, I mean, if we go back to the original plan, which none of us want to, especially after what we saw from JJ McCarthy, the original plan was Sam Darnold's going to start the majority of the season at least, and McCarthy's going to come in when he's ready. Well, now we can't even get that. I don't think JJ McCarthy's going to come back this season. I don't think he should. Get the full repair to the knee, make sure he's ready for 2025, and you kind of start fresh next year. But it's, you know what this reminds me of? Anybody remember the old YouTube videos of the guy that goes around and knocks on the door? And he's like, hey, I got a delivery for you. And he just kicks you in the nuts. And he's like, congratulations, you've been kicked in the nuts. And he runs off. That's exactly what it is to be a Vikings fan. And that's exactly how it felt today, where somebody just knocked on our door. We're having a great offseason. I'm not going to say great, because there has been, some roller coaster, some up and downs with the death of Kyrie Jackson and everything. But, everything was kind of moving towards the direction of, wait a minute, JJ McCarthy might start week 1. He looked great in that first preseason game. And then, like Randy said, we were talking to Stephon Gilmore to fill that gap. The weakness that we did see in that preseason game, we're trying to fill that. And we got a knock on the door and we got kicked in the nuts. So here we are.
Man, this is complete bullshit, man. For sure. I'm trying to watch
you
my
can
mouth
say
a
it.
little
You can
bit.
say
I'm
you
trying
can
to
say
watch
the
my
real
mouth a
word.
little bit. I'm trying to watch my mouth.
JJ's not in here yet.
Listen, there's nothing good about this for sure. I mean, I've been trying to look for the silver lining. I really am, right? I really am. And I was telling the fellas backstage that the next the next 3 weeks, I'm going to have to sit here and figure out why I love Sam Darnold and why I believe that he can carry this football team. And that's going to be one of the hardest things that I've probably done since being a Vikings fan, bro. Like, for real. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, JJ McCarthy, I know you were saying they possibly do the full repair, but and that's the thing. I'm not an expert on it, so I don't know. But I did hear that if they do the cleanup thing, there's a possibility that it could affect him for the remainder of his life, type of deal. To where if they do the full repair, it's more likely that it's fixed all the way and he doesn't have to worry about it. And with his age being 21, I mean, he does have a whole career ahead of him. So I would go that route, honestly, man. We just got to accept the fact that we're not seeing JJ McCarthy this season, bro. That's not happening.
We're back to the original plan. Sam Darnold's going to be the starter this year. We just got to face the fact, and that's just what it is. The thing that sucks about it is that he's not getting the practice time and the reps that's going to get him prepared for 2025. So that's the worst part about it.
That's the thing that has me most concerned, is that the original plan was for him to start in 2025, but in the meantime, 2024, he's continually developing in practice and whatnot. And now he's not going to be doing any of that until next off season during minicamp and training camp. Quite honestly, like, this is just one of those things where if it's going to happen to any of our quarterbacks, trying to be positive here, I mean, maybe it's a good thing that it is JJ McCarthy, because he's young, he's spry. From what I can tell, he seems very philosophical, isn't jaded yet by the world. He'll have his he'll be focused, and I'm sure not going to take this as, oh man, my life sucks. I think he'll bounce back stronger, but still, this just, you know what I've done in the last couple of weeks is that I've made a rule, a promise to myself that I will not drink during the week, only on the weekends. But as you know, gentlemen, occasionally life will throw some crushed jalapeno peppers with the seeds in your eye. You gotta be like, let me throw a few back.
Hey, facts, man.
This sucks, man.
My drink's getting cold in the fridge as we speak. If it was cold, I'd be cracking one with you, Randy. But
man, I feel you, Randy, too, man. This really sucks, bro. And you know what, man? Like you said, and me and SK have touched on this too as well. Like, what we really liked about JJ McCarthy, us being Michigan Wolverine fans, like, we watched him a lot, right? And his mentality is one thing that gives me a positive outlook on this, because like you said, I know that his mental's super strong. And even from what he's posting already, like, you would have never thought anything was wrong with them if you go look at his IG post that he posted after the game and shit like that. Like, it's like one of those things where he knows he's gonna get through this and make it to the next chapter. And I'm looking forward to it. It sucks that we have to wait a whole nother year. And on to your guys' point too about, it's almost like he's going to come back again next year and be a rookie all over again, though.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah,
how are we going to go about it? Are we bringing Sam Darnold back again? Are we going to get another bridge quarterback like a Gardner Minshew or some bullshit next year that's going to be available or something? Like, I just don't want to go through this for too much longer, man. We've been waiting for this moment forever. We finally got it, and now it's set back again, bro. What the
next year, JJ McCarthy's a starter. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you bring somebody in, you're bringing them in to be the backup. I mean, the long term, if he does get the full repair, which I think he should get, like Rap said, if he gets just a partial cleanup or he just trims it, it could cause, issues down the road. Again, go back to your original plan, have Sam Darnold be the starter this year, get a full repair, and look towards the future. The kid's 21 years old. Let's not hamper him later on in his career, because, again, he has the right mental. It looks like he has, what it takes to be the quarterback of the future on the field as well. So get the full repair. He will be the starter next year. Bring in a veteran backup, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But JJ McCarthy is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in 2025. I think the full recovery time after the surgery is 4 to 6 months or something like that. So he'll be ready for OTAs and mini camp next offseason, which it sounds so far away because we have a whole season in front of us.
It is.
It is. It's a long time away from here, but I mean, it's so cliche and so corny. We got to look towards the future in 2025.
Man.
Nah, I don't have that. I tried that this offseason, man. All of that. And I admire guys like you, SK, that stay positive and, hey, we got to look at the bright side. And I said, you know what? He's right. I'm feeling good about this team. I'm only going to say nothing but great things about the team. The critiques that I have about the team, I'm going to make it very PC.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear about, hey, just look at the bright side. Everything's going to be A-okay. And it probably is. But this is the PTSD building. What I've learned, though, is that the OG Vikings fans, like those that have been around in the 70s and 80s, they're constantly telling guys like us, content creators like us, hey, bro, get used to it, kid. All this team will do is let you down in one way or another. And here we are again. We're going to start up next year. JJ will be the guy. You should probably get a safety blanket more so than a QB2, a guy that can come in like Gardner Minshew, as Rap mentioned, and just in case JJ McCarthy goes down again. But we're going to go into next year, even with the healthy JJ McCarthy, just on the edge of our seats, like, all right, the vibes were feeling so good a year ago. What's going to happen this time around? And I was free from that this offseason until this happened.
Yeah.
And whoever runs this shit and whoever's the quote unquote football gods, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Like
real.
what did Vikings fans do to you to just consistently screw us over time in and time out, whether it be with injuries, whatever it is? It's always fucking something with football gods that we must have done something to where it's like, you know what? Screw the Vikings. Fuck them. Like, they don't need to have any legitimate success or consistent success. When you feel like you have a quarterback or you feel like you have the next guy, again, we get kicked in the freaking nuts. And it just sucked all the energy out of the season. I know Sam Darnold looked good in the first possession of the first preseason game. It's preseason. Let's pump the brakes on that. It's a little different when it's a rookie quarterback, when he's getting his first, live action against a different team. And he does perform like JJ performed in that first game. You have a reason to be excited for that. When it's a veteran guy and he has one possession, he puts one pretty good drive together that ends up ending in 0 points.
The shit was mid, bruh. Like the drive was mid as fuck.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
Come on now.
How is it mid? Ty Chandler dropped 2 passes.
Yeah, Doug. Darnold has some dimes, and we're not sitting here.
Y'all
like
ain't making me Darnold stands tonight. Fuck that.
Who's the Darnold stand? You're the one that was telling us you're going to try to be Mr. Positive and get us back on track and talk us off the ledge.
We're helping.
We're talking you off the ledge right now.
But hold on. So like that drive, right? Because I went back and I watched that drive this morning, which is crazy that we're talking about it now. Because I'm like, for some reason somebody had a video on YouTube that said every Sam Darnold pass. So I was like, you know what? Let me watch it. Bruh, this shit to me was a regular ass job. Like, we're saying it looked amazing, but it was one drive. You know what I'm saying? He's a veteran quarterback.
We didn't say amazing, Rap.
The shit. All I'm saying is the shit was mid. Like,
it wasn't mid.
It wasn't mid.
So what was spectacular about? So what's the level above mid?
What was mid about it is my question. Like what about that drive?
Were just regular. It was regular. All right, maybe that's a better word. It was regular, bro. It was regular.
Come on.
Right, so explain to me what was so impressive about that drive.
Regardless of what we feel about Sam Darnold, he had an absolute dime to Jalen Naylor in that possession.
Yeah, he did.
Where he got it right over the second level of defenders and put it right in the bucket for Jalen Naylor for a big game. And even the throw that wasn't a touchdown, but he put it right where he needed to put it. It was just a good defensive play. I can't knock Sam Darnold on that drive. He had a very good drive on that.
Saying that was mid, man. That was I don't know.
It was a very good drive.
Yeah, I'm being a little harsh on Sam.
But
that's all right. I'm gonna come around.
That doesn't change my perspective on how this season's gonna go. This season is gonna feel a lot like last season. We're gonna be right there around 500. We could be fighting for a playoff spot if Sam Darnold does have a really good year. But let's not forget, this team improved this offseason. This team got better this offseason. Let's not sit here and pretend like, look, we lost to No Hunter. We replaced him with Jonathan Greenard, Van Ginkel, and Dallas Turner, who's looking great so far in this first preseason game. So I feel like this team has improved from last year, especially after going through it with Nick Mullins. I love Nick Mullins, but Nick Mullins is Nick Mullins. Josh Dobbs, all that stuff. We willed our way to, what were we, 8-9, I believe? Right?
No, 7 and
7-10. I think
were we 7 and 10? Yeah, I think we were 7 and 10.
Somewhere along those lines. But I could see us right around that same 9-8, 8-9, right there, kind of, the same Minnesota Vikings cliche. We're always right there in purple purgatory where.
But do we want that? I guess that's the real question.
I don't want us to
be 8 and 9. Do we want to be 8 and 9?
I don't want us to.
Oh, you know where I'm going.
You don't want to be 8 and 9. Say it.
You know where I'm going with this.
Do you want to be 3-12, Rat?
I mean, I'm just saying, Kobe Bryant's coming out next year. I mean, there's a couple studs on the defensive side of the ball that we could get. I'm not saying tank. I'm just saying
we got a stud on the defensive side of the ball at pick 17 this past year.
Yeah, we did. But you know what? This year right here was a prime example. Like last year, I know we used to have these arguments. Like Kirk Cousins is injured. Why are we fighting to make the playoffs when we know for a damn fact that when we get into the playoffs, we're going to get mollywopped up and down that field? Now, you can't tell the players that. I get that because players, they're going to go out there and play, right? They're going to give their all. That's just the competitive nature of an NFL, any sports players. But again, the reality is what's more beneficial is this year, even the past year or this year coming up is, man, you can build for the future realistically now if you really know you don't have a fight. Now, we got to see how Sam Darnold does. That it's all going to rely on how Sam Darnold performs, what Sam Darnold we get. Because if Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold we know, then I'm telling you right now, man, like it's not going to be a fun season. Right.
I mean, how much worse could it get with the carousel that we had after Kirk got hurt last season? Like how much worse could it possibly be with Sam Darnold?
It can get worse. It can get worse.
I
think it can get worse. You don't think it can get worse than last year? I think it get worse.
I don't think so. I think this team improved. And the run game's going to be better.
If Darnold is who we know, who we've grown to know over his career, then you don't have to try to tank. You'll just do it naturally without even trying.
Yep.
Now, I am going to keep the same energy that I've had this entire time. That I think, honestly, 2024, the only hope that we have now in light of the McCarthy injury out for the year, most likely, the only hope we have is that Sam Darnold can channel that Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, where he can turn it back on in his career to rejuvenate his career. Mm-hmm. In which case, that if that is the case, and we're banking on that, I think the Vikings can win 10 or 11 games if that is the case. But as you mentioned, SK, this all rides on Sam Darnold. Who do we get? That's what's going to salvage anything in 2024, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, this is Sam Darnold's last shot at becoming anything in the NFL. You have everything set up for you. You have the receivers. You eventually will have the tight end. You have a running back. You have, I would say, a top 10 offensive line, especially your tackles. You got top 5, top 10 tackles on both ends. And then you got a defense that's ascending. I think ultimately this defense, they won't be necessarily the catalyst of this team down the line this season, but I think the defense is going to be drastically improved from last year. Now, hopefully our secondary gets it together because they were looking really bad in that
preseason game. It didn't look like it. Yeah, for sure.
Granted, Harrison Smith wasn't back there, so obviously that could have something to do with it there. But again, this team has too much talent to be a 4-11 team or a 4-12 team, or was it 4-13, whatever. I'm miscounting games here, but
17 now.
Yeah, 17, about to be 18 in the next couple of years. But This team has way too much talent to just be fiddling around and being a top 10 pick team unless a major injury happens and we find ourselves there. And I can almost guarantee you we trade back. There's going to be a team that wants to trade up for some type of quarterback or some type of top receiver that's coming out. Chances are, if we have a high draft pick next year, we're trading back and trying to get that second round pick back and possibly a later pick. So, look, Minnesota, the Wilfs, KOC, Kwesi, they want no business of having a losing season again. They fully expect to be in the race for the playoffs, and I expect them to be as well.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
And again, if they win double-digit games, I guess by default they should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the Wolf brothers, they are definitely, I think, eager to see results. I don't think they give a damn about the unfortunate events of injuries such as JJ McCarthy.
Right.
But if there is, do you think there's pressure on this regime? Like, I've seen that floating around a bit.
I don't think so.
Not yet.
I don't think so at all.
Unless you have a terrible year this year without any major injuries. If you have a really bad year and you don't have like Justin Jefferson go down, he plays the entire year and, no serious injuries, then I think we start to say, okay, when's the last time we missed the playoffs 2 years straight? Before the Zimmer regimen.
Yeah, because we always go like 1 year on, 1 year off. Yeah, we make
that was his thing. It was alternating years to make the playoffs. And to begin KOC's career, it's been playoffs and missed the playoffs. So this year, if the trend continues, we should be making the playoffs, which I feel like we have a good chance of doing. The beginning of our schedule looks really rough, but if you can manage to get out of your first 6 games 3-3, I think you have a real legitimate chance of making the playoffs this year, even with Sam Darnold being your quarterback. Granted, hopefully
again, that is the main thing. Sam Darnold, bro. We have to see which Sam Darnold we get, because we seen something last night at the night practice that was just a bonehead throw. I know y'all seen that highlight.
Yeah, to end the practice too.
And night practice. And that is when I seen that, I was like, that's the Sam Darnold I know, bro. Like, straight up. My wife doesn't even know who the hell Sam Darnold is. And she found a meme today and sent me, and that's not saying much that she doesn't know who he is, but I'm just saying, she sent me a meme today with the ghost shit, like with him seeing ghosts. And she just found it randomly. And she's like, this is your quarterback this year? And was just like, I'm like, yeah, that's him, this Mr. Seeing Ghosts, you know what I'm saying? But again, man, I'm coming around. I told y'all I'm spending the next 3 weeks really locking in to my Sam Darnoldism, man. You know what I mean? Shout out McCarthyism, man. I'm locking into my Sam Darnoldism.
He's starting against the Browns.
Is he? Okay.
I mean, yeah,
hopefully they let him play a little more too.
Yeah, we're not keeping him on ice. So
yeah,
I mean, you're not necessarily in the position where you're playing with house money. You can go out there and play Darnold, and if he gets hurt in the preseason, you got McCarthy to fall back on. We don't have that luxury anymore, because if Darnold goes down, it's right back to Nick Mullins. And you're looking.
Darnold goes down, bro. We're done.
Yeah, and we're looking to pick up another quarterback that's going to fight for that starting job. So, I mean, you don't have that luxury anymore, but I still feel like Sam Darnold needs to play a couple series against the Browns. And this is going to be a really good defense to kind of gauge where you're at as an offense. The Browns are going to have a top 5 defense this year, more than likely.
Yeah.
I think they had a top 3 defense last year. So this is a really good defense to kind of gauge where your offense is at with Sam Darnold being the starter. And then if you put 2 drives together that look really good, sit them, let Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall finish up the game. And I'm almost positive none of us will be watching after that. We'll turn off the game and probably throw something else on. But I mean, again, it's just a freaking kick in the nuts, dude. Like
it really is.
I was looking forward to see McCarthy tear it up in preseason. I had a feeling he was going to. And he did in the first game. But I mean, before we came on here, we were talking about the comparisons of quarterback injuries for the Vikings in the past in preseason. And Rap said it, reminds him of the Teddy Bridgewater. Randy said it reminds him more of the Sam Bradford. And I think the Teddy Bridgewater was obviously a lot more serious. It wasn't a meniscus tear. It was like What was Teddy's
He
injury?
broke. He
He
snapped
broke his leg.
It was
Yeah.
like
The
every
whole leg
ligament or some
The
shit.
whole leg just almost
Yeah.
fell off. Type
Everything was gone.
So,
shit.
here we haven't got to any comments, but this
Somebody
comment,
said call up Tom Brady, man.
that's the one I was looking
Like
at.
facts. Like let's do it, man. Shout out Bad Jokes.
Why not? Why not? I know we're floating a dream out there and we sound crazy right now, but why the hell not?
Hey,
Go
come
get
help your
Tom.
boy JJ McCarthy out, man. You know what I'm saying, Tom?
If
Like, let's go.
if anybody can break the curse for the Minnesota Vikings,
You got to get
Tom
him
fucking
away
Brady.
from that
Tom
fat
fucking
check
Brady.
job that he's about to do in media, where he's getting paid
Yeah.
$10 million per season.
And you
Yeah.
also got
Not
to clear
get
up
hit.
that interior offensive line because everybody knows Brady's weakness is that interior pressure. So we may not have the pieces that Brady needs to come back.
He gonna look at the depth chart and be like, nah.
But if I'm KOC, I'm calling up my former teammate. I'm like, look, Doug, I was your backup for a while. I rode with you. I'm gonna need you for this season. Come on down.
Cutler was supposed to do, I think, CBS or something. He initially retired, and then the Dolphins called him up, and he was like, all right, I'm going down to Miami. He did that 1 year, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Give KOC some gear, man. Fuck it. Like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying?
Let's stop it right there.
But
right?
oh, you know the offense good? You do? You do? Oh, you know your offense like the back of your hand? Get out there then. Shit, let's see it.
Obviously, there's not much positive in this, but I mean, JJ McCarthy's going to know the playbook by next offseason if you didn't know it already. He's going to have plenty of time to be studying that playbook. And hopefully by the time he's healed up, he can actually apply it to the football field.
Yeah, I'll say there's no positive in it tonight and maybe tomorrow and maybe through the weekend.
It's going to take a while.
But we will start to feel
you got to beat the Giants. If you, after going through all of this and you lose your rookie quarterback, and we do this whole thing that we always do as far as Vikings fans, it's all about positivity, look at the bright side, all that other stuff. And then you start the regular season and you lose to the New York Giants, like I don't know that there's any way to recover from that. I know that sounds extreme, but it's the Giants. It's Daniel Jones. Like, get that first win of the season, and then we can start to, I think, build up real momentum there.
And let's think, and that's a good point too, real quick, SK. That's a good point too. Think about this. The Giants have Daniel fucking Jones paying him $40 million going
because of us.
Because of us. And but think about it, their fan base, and shout out to the couple dudes that I do rock with over there in their community. But I'm gonna tell you, their fan base is thinking they're going, 12 and 4, whatever. You know what I mean? They're winning 12 games this year, going 12-5, and all type of bullshit. Now, if they can do that with Daniel Jones, I think we can dig deep and at least find some faith in Sammy, man. That's all I'm saying. We can at least find some, because they're about the same damn quarterback, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at week 1 and everything that's happened this offseason, obviously we had some positive with JJ McCarthy and how he's looking in training camp in the first preseason game. But outside of that, and I guess the moves that Kwesi made that we all feel were the right moves and picked up the right guys, outside of that, it's been a whole lot of negative. Addison getting arrested, us losing Kyrie Jackson. There's been, quite a bit of negative things going around this team in this offseason. All that accumulates to week 1, to where if you didn't have motivation before to play week 1, just like any NFL team, well, now you do. You should be coming out with your hair on fire. This defense should be playing like crazy. This offense should be motivated. So if you can't get it going or get it up for week 1 and you come out and you look flat or you just don't look good, then you got a problem. And then you got to almost start looking at KOC and say, look, with all this going, you had plenty of opportunities to get this team motivated and you came out flat in week 1. Now, I'm kind of reaching here saying that could happen. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we don't come out flat. But if you do, then we kind of have a problem here, because I see a lot of comments to where obviously selling McCarthyism, he's not a KOC fan. So at least one step closer to KOC being out after 2025. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't know where.
I want to see him get a year with McCarthy.
Got to.
Before any decisions.
I want to just see him have a whole year of what they actually plan. But see, things in life don't go as planned, right? But again, He had it really the only year that actually went as planned was his first year as the coach. He had his quarterback the whole season. He was implicating his playbook and all that, and it went really good. The second year, they went through adversity. I always stress this. I actually like last year due to the fact that he went through adversity. He's prepared now, and hopefully this year they're prepared and they have no choice now, because now we're one injury away from another QB carousel. So like shit, at the end of the day, if Sam, like we were saying, if Sam Darnold goes down, bro, we're right back to where we was last year, bro. We're going to be calling motherfuckers off the couch, whether that's Flacco, whoever. We're going to just be hoping that these people turn into somebody.
Flacco's a backup somewhere, right?
But I say that to say this though, like, this is why I'm not so hard on KOC, because he hasn't been dealt the correct hand yet. And a lot of the things are out of his control, like in my opinion. Now he does things that we all criticize. You know, there's plays and shit and not being aggressive that we can criticize him on and say, you know what, KOC, you got to do better. But like at the end of the day, when it comes to losing no matter how you feel about Kirk Cousins, and everybody knows how I feel about him. When you lose that, bro, that's tough, bro. I don't think Bill Belichick couldn't do it once Tom Brady left the building, bro. They were shit afterwards.
Did Rap just compare Kirk Cousins to Tom Brady right now?
No, I'm more comparing KOC to Bill Belichick, meaning like Bill Belichick's known to be one of the greatest coaches ever in some people's books. But guess what? When his quarterback left the building, bro, it was a wrap. And I feel the same way. Like, don't get me wrong, Andy Reid has been successful, but he's always had a good quarterback too. Like, just think of Andy Reid, if something happened to Patrick Mahomes, God forbid, and Andy Reid had to go out there for a whole season, not one game. I can see him winning 1, 2, 3 games in the spurt of the moment, but I'm saying a whole season, having to prepare with whoever they're back, Carson Wentz. Bro, it's just not going to be the same. You know what I mean? That's tough.
They certainly have the argument in case the Wolf brothers do decide to, I guess, have an uncomfortable conversation to say, hey, listen, our rookie quarterback went down. I was planning on playing him a little bit later this season. Kyrie Jackson, the loss of him. Mekhi Blackmon tore his ACL. He has so many. My wide receiver, too, doesn't know how to keep his head on straight during the offseason. I think KOC does, and Kwesi. I think Kwesi should be the most secure out of the two if we are going to have some sort of power ranking between those two. But if they decide, the Wolf brothers, I don't like the results that you have provided with us, they can just pull out this big ass sheet and say, look at all the things we've been through. I think you can go through that early on in your contract, in your time with the new team. Eventually it's probably going to run out, but I just want to see him 1 year with McCarthy, and then we can go ahead and, if necessary, have that conversation. But I think they're straight right now.
Yeah, and the Vikings franchise, the organization, I mean, obviously no one is the Steelers when it comes to coaches. How many, like 3 coaches in the last like 60 years or something like that? Yeah. But if you really look back at how this organization kind of goes about hiring and firing their coaches, they're not quick to pull the trigger on firing coaches unless it's something drastic and it's like, okay, let's get this guy the hell up out of here. They're going to give that coach as many chances as they feel he deserves. And we saw it with Zimmer. And I was one of the guys where it took me a while to catch up on the whole Zimmer, like, okay, it's done. It's over. He's too old. He's an old, angry man. It took me a while for that, but the Wilfs were the same. You know what? Zimmer's been good for us. Let's give him another year. Let's give him another year. That's how they're going to do it. So if I'm being honest, KOC, his job is secured through 2025. No matter what happens this year, unless the dude gets caught with crystal meth driving down the 94 freeway or something, like KOC's job is secure through 2024 and through 2025. 2026, after a year with McCarthy, hopefully, if that goes bad, then I think we can kind of bring up the question of, okay, KOC, you're on the hot seat. What's next? But these next 2 seasons, KLC's not going anywhere.
I think he should be secure. I guess my only, to play devil's advocate here, and I mentioned this, I think last week, or it doesn't matter, is that maybe there's, even if it's a 5% chance, that the Wolf brothers were so jaded by the Kirk Cousins experiment and the Zimmer experiment, to where they're like, we were so nice before that we're never going to allow mediocrity to run our organization longer than we feel it should. We're done sitting back and saying, okay, we'll give you another extension. That's the only thing that I'm wondering about when it comes to them. The past got you all in your feelings, rightfully so. Are you going to take that out on your future now with Kwesi and KOC? I certainly hope not. Like, he should go through at least 2025, but it wouldn't shock me at all if at any point, I hope it doesn't, but it wouldn't shock me if at any point next season, if things go awry, if it's, hey, KOC is on the hot seat, that sort of a thing, just because of how the Wolf brothers allowed Zim and Kirk Cousins to kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah, me and you just talked about this a week or two ago about who's more on the hot seat than the other between Kwesi and KOC. And you were all the way on Kwesi's side of being he should get extended, he's good. And you were more so on the side of I'm not sure about KOC. I need to see more from KOC. But just thinking logically, obviously, he's not going anywhere until after 2025, if any.
No. We like Randy said, like, we brought him here, and I honestly believe this. We brought KOC here to identify a quarterback, first of all. Like, that was probably one of the main things on the list, because even if the Wolves were deeply in love with the Kirk Cousins experience and all of that good stuff, I'm sure they knew it was definitely coming to an end sooner than later, for sure. Whether that was him going to retire or just was going to happen, what happened this year. And I know they brought him in to identify a quarterback and see if he can actually develop a franchise quarterback that's what I call homegrown. Even though he's not from Minnesota, it's still, you went out, you picked him, you got him on the franchise, and now he's the quarterback for the next 10 plus years or whatever. And I feel like that's what they brought not only KOC, but Kwesi in here to do as well. And it happened this year or at least the first steps happened. And I think they're going to at least let that kind of flourish, or at least give us hope that, okay, this was the right choice. You guys picked the stud. We see the talent. We see it. And obviously this year now, man, we got to wait. I want to talk about something real quick. When we talked about earlier, like, the original plan was sit JJ McCarthy out the entire season. I have to disagree with you guys on that. I don't think that KOC's plan was to sit Jay. The way KOC's acting right now, bro, like, listen, you would think that he lost his starting quarterback that he was planning on, and it might not have been week 1, but I do believe it was sooner than later that we were going to see JJ McCarthy, bro, because the way, and we saw what he did in the game, which, yes, it's a preseason game. I always go back and remember, and maybe people won't remember this, but just think about Justin Fields' first preseason game. Oh, dude balled out crazy, bro. Like, I think he had like 2 touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown. Like, he was going crazy in preseason, right?
It looks similar to JJ's.
It did. So you can't put too much weight. You can use, and now he just doesn't get it. Like, I watched the preseason game this past weekend. I'm like, dog, Justin Fields just doesn't get it, bro. But I say that to say, man, like, what KOC probably sees in practice and that list that he said there's no clock in the corner of the room saying we're going to wait the whole year or we're going to wait 1 week or 2 weeks. I think JJ really was climbing that ladder, man, and really was getting into KOC. Just look at, y'all seen that picture, how he was looking at JJ coming off the field, bro? Like,
yeah,
I'm telling you, bro, those things tell signs, bro. Like, I'm telling you. And just the way he was today during the little press conference, man, the emergency press conference, man, you can tell, man, he's heard about it. Like, his plan is just pretty much out the window as of now, because now they're not forced. You can look at the silver lining is he's not forced to put him out there now. He has to be patient. He's put in a position now where he has to be, whether that's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 months, or 6 months. But either way, you're going to have to be patient now at KOC. But because I would see KOC really getting excited. Just imagine JJ went out there this weekend and threw another 2 touchdowns and was just doing his thing. Bro, Sam Darnold's job is over. He would have locked it up right there. Like, if JJ would have went out there again and threw 2-3 touchdowns and didn't throw a pick and was efficient, bro, it was a wrap. JJ was going to be QB1 week 1, bro.
Yeah, and I think that JJ surprised a lot of people in the building with how good he looked in training camp and in the first preseason game. Now, obviously, when you draft a guy in the top 10 at the quarterback position or at any position, but if you draft a guy in the top 10, especially at the quarterback position, obviously you expect the kid to be good. But drafting him, I fully believed it when they said, okay, we're going to take it real slow with him. We're going to kind of ease him in. We're in no rush to put him in the game or put him in this season. But he showed that he may have been ready to start week 1. Maybe. And I think KOC and Kwesi and the rest of his coaching staff and even his teammates, after that preseason game specifically, they said, wait a minute. He might be a little more ready than what we thought he was. Yeah. And it shows right after that preseason game. I think later on that same night, KOC said he's going to get a lot more reps with the ones. He's going to be getting some reps with the ones in the next preseason game, I think he said. So it was kind of gearing towards getting JJ ready for week 1. So again, it throws a wrench in the new plan, I guess. Him being so good in training camp in the preseason that it threw a wrench in the original plan to where, okay,
I agree.
We're going to let Sam Darnold do his thing. And then another wrench was just thrown into it to where it's like, okay, now we really got to be patient with him. Yeah. We have no choice at this point. He can't play right now. So, I mean, it
fucking sucks. That's what it is. That's what
and going back to that game, like, the moment just wasn't too big for him.
Nope.
Like, this is a rookie quarterback in his first preseason game. You've got tens of thousands of people watching you in this moment. I can't imagine how any of us would do in that situation with whatever our careers are at that particular. Imagine tens of thousands of people showing up on your first day on the job.
Yeah.
And he was so lights out. He was so amazing that I did think that the circumstances changed the original plan. Hey, he's doing really good in training camp. That preseason game, oh my gosh. Can you imagine those passes to Jefferson and Addison? Hey, we might need to, maybe he's in the conversation for week 1, or if not, give it a couple of games mid-season at worst. He's going to get in there and we're going to take off and everything's going to be great. And for this to happen, it's, oh, okay. Well, I guess that was fun while it lasted.
Blue balls. Just
blue
ultimate blue balls. They edged us. The football gods edged us. And now we're just blue balling it.
And and like, even with the original plan too, that I kind of go back on is, let's just call it for what it is, man. Sam Darnold was brought in here for backup money, $10 million. Like, that's a backup. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no starting quarterback in the NFL making $10 million, bro. It's just not normal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a backup. So like maybe KOC them felt like JJ McCarthy was going to be ready sooner than later this season too. Like, we assumed that the plan is he was going to sit all year, but we don't know, man. Shit. KOC could have been having a hard on this whole time from the moment he picked JJ. Like, look here, the plan really is that we're getting this motherfucker to start week 1. That's the real plan.
I mean, they're damn near twins.
You know what I'm saying?
KOC's just a 30-year older version or 25-year older version of JJ McCarthy. They talk the same. They look the same. Everything, the demeanor is the same. So, I mean, they're like a match made in heaven. But one thing that I think that really stood out to this regimen, this coaching staff, and even his teammates as well, is this something we talked about during the draft, Rap, is that JJ, he has that natural leadership quality. He has that it factor. And I say it every single time. That it factor is something. There's people out there that'll tell you there's no such thing as having the it factor. There is. There absolutely is. And his teammates and this coaching staff, they seen it. They seen the leadership, those natural qualities. And that was just another aspect that they were extremely impressed about. And then he put it together with what he was doing on the field and at practice. And it just fucking sucks, dude. It just fucking sucks. We're not going to be able to see him till next off season. We're not going to see him this year. And it blows. It just absolutely blows.
I'm not fully on board of we're not going to see him this year yet. yet, right? Because
Positivity, there he is.
Here we go.
well, no, but I'm saying this because because the team hasn't came out yet, specifically KOC, because they said they have to go in there first to really see the timeline. So, at the end of the day, they kind of know what the injury is, and everybody kind of knows these timelines of if it's like this, then it's 4 to 6 weeks. If it's like this, then it's 4 to 6 months. But until it's absolute, I'm not going to say that we won't see him the full season, because you never know. Maybe he says, nah, F it. The best plan right now is to just fix it up. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's a case where you can maybe get that surgery in the off season at some point, like where, hey, we can fix it up, which I wouldn't do personally, but I'm saying we don't know what they're thinking. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, not that they're trying to rush him out there, but what I'm saying is JJ McCarthy and his family ultimately are going to make the final decision. And depending on how serious it is, we don't know how serious it is yet. So we gotta see. It's serious enough that he's not going to be playing week 1 for sure.
Well, what would you do, Rap? I mean, it's different if it was like a Bo Nix where you're coming in and you're like 29 years old.
Here's the Bo Nix slander.
So obviously you're gonna be like, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't, put him in surgery where he's out 4 to 6 months. Yeah. He's a 21-year-old kid. The original plan was to have Sam Darnold at least start the majority of the year, anyways. If you're KOC and you're this organization, you're Kwesi, I think if you have the opportunity or you have the option to say, look, we can go in there and clean it up. It'll be a 4 to 6 week plan, and then he'll be back. Yeah. But this may affect him long term.
Right.
Or you can go with the full repair. He's going to be out the majority of the season, if not all of it. Yeah. But he'll be ready for 2025, and he'll be better long term in his career. Then you're going to take the long-term plan. He'll be 22 to start the season next year, ultimately getting a rookie quarterback again, but he just has time to study that playbook, get, not necessarily get his feet wet with reps or anything like that. But we already know the kid has a strong mental.
Right. And I'll put it like this. Instead of saying what would I do if I was him, it would be more of like if that was my son, right? Like if JJ McCarthy was my son, and at the end of the day, I'm going to talk to my son and say, look here, you need to go ahead and get it fixed like all the way. Don't do the little temporary job where you can just get out there. But again, I keep going back on the original plan was to sit and watch Sam Darnold all year, bro. I don't believe in that. Like y'all might have believed in that. I don't think that is the original plan. Like they brought Sam Darnold in here to be a backup, man. I'm telling y'all, he getting $10 million. He's a backup. This man is not a starter.
Well, I mean, it almost happened to where we weren't able to draft a quarterback because the dudes like SK, Rap, or everybody out there that was JJ. And I'm like, if y'all just keep it down, just relax. And then I started building up draft stock, everything. It almost didn't happen.
They were saying he might get pick number 2. I'm like, God damn.
For the Patriots at 3.
We spoke it into existence, man. We spoke it into existence.
And it's what's really fucked up about this whole situation too, SK? We got Randy on board just like a couple weeks ago. Maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Maybe a week and a half ago. Like I'm a certified.
Now we're not blaming this on Randy. We're not blaming it on him, but I'm just saying.
I'll blame myself. Y'all bought the stocks of JJ McCarthy at like 50 cents per share. I came in late to the party on this bandwagon buying them at like 4,000 a share, but I didn't care. I just won in. And I was like, I see it now. I'm seeing the reports on training camp. I saw the preseason game. Oh my God. I owe SK an apology for when we did the show. What was it, last week or the week before last? He said, oh, there's a quarterback competition. And I said, no, there's not. Come on, man. And then that's when everything took off right after that. And I said, okay, I believe this is some angels in the outfield type of stuff. Like I can't explain it, but this is a good feeling. And here we are. Just, oh yeah, this is what being a Vikings fan is all about. Yeah. Okay. Things are going to be great. Right.
Yeah.
Just beat the Giants. I'm telling you right now. I can't Rap. I appreciate you, man, for trying to build us back up, but I can't do this build up for however many weeks until the regular season comes, and then they end up losing to the Giants. Like
I'm doing SK's job tonight, man. He was supposed to be the one, positive and you know what I mean, and fucking trying to get
I
us.
feel like I've
Because
been
usually
balanced.
I'm on the bullshit. Like right now, I should be on the bullshit, especially about Sam Darnold. I already been on the bullshit about Sam Darnold. Now I'm trying to come around. You know what I mean?
And, I mean, let's look at the positive side of things here.
okay.
Tristan Jackson's balling out.
Yeah.
Your boy,
My guy's balling out.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out Tristan, bro.
Bo Richter looks like JJ
Bo
Watt.
Oh man, is he? Let me ask this about Bo. Is this man mixed or white? Because I'm like, he looks like
I
a
think he's
white guy
white.
in
He
his
looks
pictures,
white.
but then on the field, he looked
White.
mixed or some shit, man. Like, I don't know, man. I seen a picture. I'm like, God damn, why he look like a mixed dude? I didn't know who he was at first when I seen him at first on Saturday, man. I'm like, damn, that looked like some mixed guy out there. I don't know who the hell he was.
I mean, if we want to, outside of the JJ McCarthy news, if we want to stay kind of on a positive note, there was a lot of young guys that looked really good in that preseason.
There was.
Yeah.
Like Dallas Turner, obviously with the sack and 2 pressures, looked really good. Bo Richter looked really good.
LDR.
I mean, Tristan Jackson, Jalen Naylor looked great.
Yeah.
Jalen Naylor looked really good. I'm the main guy that's been, pumping the brakes on Jalen Naylor because his injury history. Your best ability is your availability. Well, he's available and he's balling right now. I feel like if he can stay healthy, he's solidified himself as a wide receiver 3, and he's doing a damn good job at it. Tristan Jackson, I feel like he's in competition for wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. We haven't seen much of Brandon Powell. I don't know if that's because that's the preseason kind of plan or scheme from KOC to where he's already locked up a roster spot. Sherfield's look good in preseason. I mean, everybody's looking good, and that's what makes this JJ McCarthy news suck even more because everybody was looking great outside of Byron Murphy.
If we do want to get back on the positive side, like you're trying to do, which I do appreciate, those players that you mentioned, as far as these young new players that show some promise right now, well, guess what? In 2025, when McCarthy's back, he'll have all of these weapons at his disposal. So I guess if I'm going to acknowledge this positivity, I'm going to say that's what I'm looking forward to. Kwesi has done a really good job putting together a solid roster as best as he can with the resources he has available to him. I mean, to get 2 first-round picks, that's crazy. But I think JJ McCarthy is going to, especially after next offseason, free agency, with all the cap money, the draft pick, whatever you end up with in the first round, trade back, McCarthy's going to come into a much better situation next year than what he saw this year before he got hurt.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But that also puts more pressure on him to come through in 2025 because
like right away.
Yeah, because 2024
you're
kind of playing with house money. Look, you're gonna have your rookie hiccups here and there, or whether you're easing him in and letting Sam Darnold play. Now it doesn't speed things up because obviously it's getting pushed back to 2025. But when JJ McCarthy does become the starter, then we don't expect anything less than what we saw in this first preseason game at that point. Now you got a really good roster, probably better roster at that point, because let's not forget, this next offseason is going to be a big offseason for the Minnesota Vikings. We have plenty of cash to spend in free agency, and that's exactly what Kwesi's going to do. So he's going to come into a better roster than what we have right now, more than likely, and the pressure's on at that point, especially if you don't make the playoffs this year. Then it's like, okay, if JJ's our guy, he's got to lead us to the playoffs at least in 2025. Yeah. So that's my only concern. But again, we all kind of touched on this point. JJ McCarthy has a very strong mental. So if anybody can do it, I think JJ can.
Yeah, I think he's ready for the pressure for sure. If that's the case, you know what I mean. Somebody said I'd start Nick Mullins over Darnold.
I wouldn't do that.
Only reason why I wouldn't do that right now
I love
is
Mullins too.
The only reason why I wouldn't do that is because I want to give Sam Darnold a chance. You know, I was watching a podcast earlier and they said, you know, maybe this is Sam Darnold's fate. You know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe God's on Sam Darnold's side because JJ was about to come take his job, and you say, you know what, Sam Darnold, this is your time. We're going to open this door for you. And you can look at it like that as a silver lining too. And it's not a bad thing. It's not like you wishing injury on JJ, but things happen in life for a reason. And JJ's taking it that way too, from what we see already. And he's going to make the best out of it. But maybe this is Sam Darnold's fate or rebirth. Now, again, Randy, this is me trying to be positive. I'm saying we're getting somewhere.
Positive,
you know what I mean? We're getting somewhere.
We've made progress.
We're making progress.
Yeah.
I could see Sam Darnold winning 12, 13 games. Come on. The number 3 pick in the NFL draft. Are you kidding me? Did you see him at USC? It can get serious out there, man. It really can. So
I can appreciate that reach. I can appreciate that. Man. That's amazing. 12, 13 wins.
12 or 13, Doug. I don't know about 12.
I think they can win. They can. All right, man. Let's get positive here.
All right, positive, Randy.
How many games can they win, Randy? Come on.
They can win 11. They seriously can. And, man, hold on. Y'all two talk real quick. I'm bringing up the schedule.
Okay,
right,
I was about to bring it up, too.
Let's go, man. Yeah, let's bring up the schedule. Let's get it, man. I know Giants, 49ers, week 1 and 2. So,
well, look, 49ers haven't
won in Minnesota.
49ers haven't won in Minnesota since 91, I believe. It's just one of those things. Just like we haven't beat the Colts since 2023. Before that, we haven't beat the Colts in 20 plus years.
Yeah.
It took us that long to beat the Colts. Now,
Cardinals are like that too in Minnesota. They haven't won in 10 years.
Exactly. So there's certain teams and certain situations to where I don't know what it is. They just can't win in certain situations or certain climates. And that's the San Francisco 49ers in Minnesota. So, I mean, look what happened last year. We beat them of all places, of all times, on Monday night in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins on Monday night in Minnesota. We beat them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily rule us beating San Francisco week 2. Now, obviously, we got an uphill climb. That's going to be a very tough game. But let's not forget, that is the home opener.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd is going to be wild, especially if you beat the Giants week 1. So you go out there, you start 1-0. You are going to have a ruckus U.S. Bank Stadium. People
are going to be in the
crazy,
building, baby.
And we will be there. It's going to be crazy for that home openers. Say Sam Darnold goes out there week 1 and just torches the Giants defense. Mm-hmm. All that positivity and all that I mean, whatever
momentum.
You want to call it.
Momentum.
Momentum. All that changes from how we feel right now. Obviously, it sucks right now. We're hating what happened to JJ McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold tears it up week 1. We have nothing but positivity going into week 2, and that crowd's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. And I could see us beating the 49ers. It's
what
early in the
season. I could too.
What we got after that, Randy?
Let's run on that theory. They start off 2-0, right?
Okay.
I think they can also beat the Jets. The Jets are a disaster, bro.
Yeah, we can beat the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's in London too, right?
Is that that's the London game.
And I think we're undefeated in London. That's another kind of weird thing. I think we're the only undefeated team in London. We're 3-0.
I mean, we're the London Vikings, bro. Like, come on, let's be serious. That's a home game for us. Dead ass.
You've got the Detroit. I'm hoping you can split with them. I think you're going to split with Green Bay in Detroit.
Is that Detroit in Detroit or at Minnesota?
So after the Jets game, there's the bye. And then after that, you've got Detroit at home.
Okay.
That's October 20th. So I guess we'll say home field advantage. You'll win that game. I think you can beat the Colts. Anthony Richardson, all the hoopla about him last year. I know he got hurt. I just don't think he's a good passing quarterback. We should be able to hopefully have Sam Darnold outduel him.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, that's a toss-up. The Tennessee Titans, absolutely. The Bears, you should probably split with them as well.
Mm-hmm. Just like we always do.
Arizona, you should beat them. The Vikings are going to be so amped up for the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins to show up at US Bank Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Flores is going to want to put him on his ass. You should be able to get that one. And then, I mean, I think it's I think it's there. And then there are always a couple of games that you end up winning.
Mhm.
Maybe San Francisco is one of them where you say, oh, I didn't see that happening, but they got the win anyway.
But
It's
it goes
possible
the other way too, though,
it rides
Randy.
on Sam Darnold.
But it goes the other way too. There is going to be games that we're going to be like, damn, we didn't know that was going to happen us winning, but it also goes losses too, like where we'll fucking.
You'll have one or two of those.
Like the Bears. Let's just say the Bears are going to be shit this year, and they're fucking 4-8 or something, or 2-8, and we play them, and all of a sudden they beat the shit out of us or something. It's like, what the fuck, man? Really? Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, that's not just a Vikings thing. That happens to every team.
Yeah, it's just the parity.
You have your bad weeks, you have your really good weeks.
But I do agree with Randall. I could see 10. I could see 10.
Looking at those first two games, I know we're saying it all rides on Sam Darnold, but I think a lot of it depends on how good this defense is.
And the run game.
The run game, yes. You're thinking the defense is going to play a big part in this.
I think they are, because let's put it this way. Say that Brian Flores defense holds. I mean, I can see us obviously holding the Giants team to under 17 points.
Yes.
That's possible in week 1.
Yeah.
Do you think that Sam Darnold can put up 17 plus points or 18 plus points on the Giants?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's the Giants.
Yeah. Let's look at the San Francisco game. Obviously, that's a lot tougher game against San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan and his offensive scheme and Christian McCaffrey. And I mean, I'm still not sold on Brock Purdy just yet, but he runs that system very well for Kyle Shanahan. Could you see Brian Flores holding that offense to 21 to 23 points?
Sure, I could see that. I guess the thing I have with this defense that just troubles me is the interior defensive line and corners, especially with Mekhi Blackmon out for the year. Like the depth is so bad right now that a Caleb Evans is your CB3. That's why I was really hoping, I'm sure we were all hoping that Stephon Gilmore would have been signed. That didn't happen. So I think because of that, the only two positional, I guess, positions on the defensive side of the ball that, or at least I feel good about anyway, are the linebackers inside and outside and the safeties. The 3-man front and the corners, that's where it's just, okay, so maybe you struggle to get pressure on the, and then when the ball goes up, the corners are probably not going to be able to keep up playing cardio, even if they did have a solid pass rush. I don't know, but it is Brian Flores, so I guess you have to add a little bit to that he can coach up worse players or players that aren't as great better than who they actually are. But man, you got a lot of faith in this defense, man.
Well, if there's any time for you to go out there and sign Stephon Gilmore, you need to sign him by the end of today or tomorrow.
Right.
You just had a huge kick in the nuts with what happened to JJ McCarthy. This team needs a jolt or some type of positivity. The fan base needs some type of jolt or some type of positivity to get our mind off the whole JJ McCarthy thing. If we go out there and we sign Stephon Gilmore tomorrow, it doesn't take away what happened with JJ McCarthy today, but it makes us feel a whole lot better about this football team going into the season. I mean, who wouldn't feel good about signing a guy like that? And it's an obvious need. You just said a Caleb Evans being cornerback 3. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a serious problem.
And Byron Murphy,
when he was cornerback 1, that was a problem.
But
that's where the problem.
Byron Murphy's not looking
but
good
also
either.
Exactly. Byron Murphy is just the
pissing
best
me
of
off.
the situation that we have right now, which is awful cornerback play. Byron Murphy isn't even a lock to just be like, oh, okay, we're set with him.
Yeah, he
We
pissed
saw
me
him
off.
in the preseason game. We need corners bad. But what I do want to say in fairness is for Kwesi, I am going to choose to believe that Kwesi was super aggressive with Stephon Gilmore. Like, hey, bro, we'll sign you right now. What are you asking for? Let's find some middle ground here. But I guess the reason why he may not have signed with the Vikings is maybe he's doing some sort of round robin sort of thing. Let me get the best offer and then I'll take that wherever that is.
Right.
But man, corner really concerns me
It does.
equally as much as interior defensive line. But the thing with IDL is you have Levi Drake Rodriguez. So if he
Another guy
pushes
that's looked really
himself,
good.
if he pushes himself up the depth chart, then that makes that positional group a little bit better. Whereas corner, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
Well, what we have to
gotta
do
do
is
something.
we have to actually, get pressure in the interior defensive line and on the edges. We have to bring that pressure, because if we bring that pressure, that's going to take a lot of weight off of our cornerbacks' shoulders, man. And that's the problem when you got quarterbacks. And we went through this where we were playing backup court. What year was that where backup quarterbacks were just fucking darting us up? It might have been the year we won 13 games.
Every year was Zimmer.
Yeah. But like that's what happens when you don't get pressure, and it makes your cornerbacks look horrible, bruh, because like realistically, I played DB in high school, and realistically, if the quarterback has too much time back there, you just can't keep up. Bro.
Yeah.
Like eventually they're gonna get fucking open. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. So like that's why pressure is very important. And like y'all said, Levi Drake Rodriguez, man, what a fucking guy, man. Like there's something about him that and we didn't even get to see Murphy yet, that from UCLA. Gabriel, was it Gabe?
Oh, yeah, Gabe Murphy. Yeah. Gabriel.
You didn't
Murphy,
even get to see him yet, but like him and Bo, I mean, bro, we do have some young studs on this team that are making noise and that can cause some pressure on top of Dallas Turner. So like I'm going to be paying attention to that, because I know that's going to help our outside a lot as far as our corners and stuff go, because I think our safety room is really good. I think we have one of the best safety rooms. And I've heard you touch on this too, Randy. Like our safety depth is there, bro. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's almost like if we have an injury at safety, I feel I'm comfortable with saying, "Hey, next man up."
We're still good. Yeah,
just not Lewis.
Cornerback, it's like cornerback. We get an injury there, like let's say Shaq or Byron, and yes, Byron obviously hasn't been playing up to par. You know how excited I was, SK, when we were bringing Byron in. I'm like,
he played good last year.
He played okay. He played okay.
He was decent.
Okay. I think Patrick Peterson, bro, like literally, like the shit people were giving him, bro, he might have been one of the best veteran cornerbacks we've brought in the past.
He's still a free agent, by the way, too.
Bro.
I know
he's do something.
I know he's too old, and he's probably past.
But that's what I worry about Gilmore too. That's what I worry about Gilmore is the age. Because Gilmore was an A-list player at one point in his career. But
he had a good season last year.
But he did have a good season.
He was still pretty decent. And honestly, I wouldn't even mind seeing Brian Flores getting crazy with it and say, screw this. We'll have Josh Metellus play 50% as a nickel corner.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays everywhere else anyway. We have a serious need there. Yeah. Why not have him play there if we can't bring in a guy like Stephon Gilmore or somebody else?
Well, I think Metellus is very physical. I think he's better closer to the line of scrimmage. He's very physical. Now, he does have certain ball hawking skills. We know he played at Michigan too. So, like, he's somebody that I've watched too in the past. And I just don't know if him playing like in the slot and stuff like that. I think he'll get toasted over the middle a lot, bro, like speed-wise. Yeah. Because he's not the quickest guy. He's a physical guy, and he knows his position. But again, going up against some of them slot receivers, I think we'll get a lot of bullshit happening for sure.
His game relates a lot to Harrison Smith. He is the Harrison Smith replacement. As much as we love Harrison Smith, he's great in coverage. Not as good as what he used to be when he was younger, but he's still really good in coverage. But Harrison Smith's never been the guy to play nickel and be a man-to-man defender. Right? No. And we know how much Brian Flores loves to play man defense. So, I agree with you. Metellus, he's not going to be the guy that's going to man up on a slot receiver and lock him down. It's not.
And what was concerning too, I don't know if you guys seen this during the game, Jay Ward playing in the slot, man, it didn't look good. All right. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. It didn't look good. It didn't look good. You know what I mean? It just didn't. And like he was struggling bad, and he knew it too. Like you could just see his demeanor, man. He knew he was struggling bad. It's like, oh damn, this isn't practice anymore. Like this shit's for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like these motherfuckers burning me. So again, man, we have an issue there. I think we all agree with that. And something that's gonna have to be addressed before week 1. Like I think it needs to be addressed like today, tomorrow, like we said. So hopefully we see something there, man.
Most sure. So do we feel any better after kind of venting about the whole JJ McCarthy.
Man, talking with the bros, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Feel a little
saying?
better.
Feel a little better. Feel like sleep a little better tonight. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Little
I mean,
better.
look, a little positivity at the end of our show. End of our first
Pleasantly
show.
surprised, actually. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we can smile a little bit now. It still burns. It still stings a little bit.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of positivity left for
Yeah.
Minnesota.
I
Vikings.
encourage everybody to go watch Sam Darnold highlights tonight, man. Just type in Sam Darnold highlights on YouTube and get positive. Let's go, man. We about to tear the league up this year.
But before you do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button to
Facts.
obviously the new channel, Purple Parlor.
Yep.
So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We appreciate everybody tapping in tonight for our first
man.
show. And again, this is the first one. We're just kicking this off. We will be live on Monday nights. The only reason why we're live tonight, which ended up working out because we had the big news today with JJ McCarthy anyways. But we will be live every Monday night at the same time that we did tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, 7:30 Central time. So make sure you tap in, set your notifications, hit that little bell down there so you get those notifications. But again, hit that subscribe button for Purple Parlor on YouTube. We're also on Instagram and TikTok as well. We'll be posting.
Yes.
Yep. What? Huh? What?
No, I said yes. As in,
okay.
yes, that's a great observation right there.
Yeah, go ahead and hit those follow buttons on those as well. We'll be posting some clips from this episode with the links so you guys can, get all the highlights, just like you watch the game and get all the highlights on YouTube afterwards. We'll be shooting our highlights not only on YouTube, but also on Instagram and TikTok as well. So make sure you hit that follow. But again, man, hey, great time, guys.
Put up six chat real quick where he said what he said about it, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Shout out my guy 6, man, for sure, man.
There we go,
man.
6 Shooter Nation. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. And Gary too, man. He said this is therapy. Listening to us talk tonight. Shout out Gary. Shout out everybody in the building, man. We definitely appreciate.
We worked through it, man, because that was rough to start with. That main topic is, oh boy, and then we ended up talking about the defense and how good it could be possibly. And hey, they could win 11 games next year. You never know. And then 25, McCarthy comes back and everything's great. And
we win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Like, what the hell are we stressing about?
I'll believe it. I see it.
Come on, man.
Win the Super Bowl, bro. What's so hard?
You
know what
Come
I mean?
on.
Like, fuck at it.
Until I see the Vikings holding up that trophy, like I can't go that far.
It's gonna happen. It's happening
because then the letdown will hit even harder.
And I'm gonna go one even further. Not only is it going to happen, but it's going to happen with Kwesi as the GM, KOC as the head coach, and JJ McCarthy as the quarterback. So like you can take that how you want, like meaning, okay, maybe it's not this year, but don't worry. Before 2027, we will be holding up the trophy, man. I'm telling you right now, it's happening.
All right, look at Mr. Positivity over here.
Hey, I'm super positive than that. I like this shit, man.
I'm not hanging on the ledge anymore. I will say that. I'm on solid ground right now. All right, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
But again, appreciate each and every one of you tapping in. Remember to hit that subscribe button, guys. Like, share. We appreciate the support, and we will be back next Monday, and hopefully we'll be it's positive, but hopefully it'll be a lot more positive next Monday. And we got,
it's going to be the Sam Darnold glaze next Monday.
It's the Sam Darnold.
You just watch.
Go ahead, he was amazing.
Go ahead, Sam. But again, appreciate you guys. Until next time, this is Purple Parlor, SK, Realistic Randy, Rap. Peace out, y'all. Skull Vikings.
Bye.
I say the same. I say the same.